Another Democrat divide. Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez calling out President Biden for not including illegal immigrants in his blanket pardon for people federally convicted of simple marijuana possession. She also had this message for her party.
The Democratic Party has not tried in terms of Latino electorates. And I mean, where's our DREAM Act? Where is our immigration reform? And even recently with President Biden's marijuana executive order. I very much applaud that he went there, but he exempted people who were convicted if they were convicted while they were undocumented.
Joining us live is former acting DHS Secretary Chad Wolf. Chad, good morning to you. What do you think about that comment from AOC?
Well, I think it just shows her priorities and perhaps the priorities of the left. Look, their idea of solving this crisis and solving the immigration crisis and really trying to appeal to certain voters is to give them blanket amnesty, or in this case, obviously, dealing with pardons for those here in the country illegally. So I think it's wrong. It's an America last strategy. And I think the American people want to see policies from either party that's really impacting Americans every single day. And this isn't it.
On the marijuana part of this, I mean, you've heard a lot of legal scholars say really nobody is convicted of a federal marijuana possession crime. That seems to be something that's left to the states and localities. But bigger picture, Chad, after his lawless approach to immigration and the border in total, why is he pretending to play tough guy with illegals when it comes to marijuana?
Well, I think that's right. Again, I think this is the left's kind of appeal. They believe their appeal to Latino voters. And I think what we have seen is that most Latinos that we have talked to, that I have talked to, want a secure border. They want folks to come into the country illegally. They don't want to see those that came here illegally rewarded with pardons or any other type of behavior from the federal government. So I think, again, it's the wrong approach. I think it's a misreading of that community. They want law and order. They want process at that border. And, you know, AOC and others need to be focusing on solving the crisis on that border. We have a historic crisis on that border that party is not talking about. And it's a shame because they're in power. They have the ability to solve this today if they choose to.
Chad, migrants, including Venezuelans who've been sent back to Mexico, are now building a tent city on the other side of the border because they're hoping that this new Biden administration policy that sends Venezuelans back to Mexico, which is essentially the Remain in Mexico policy, is going to eventually get overturned by the administration. What do you make of the Biden administration doing this right now? Some people have said that this is a positive step in the right direction. Others say that, man, oh, man, this is just a drop in the bucket.
Well, I would agree. I think this is too little too late. I think what they are seeing is that an enforcement measure such as the one that they're taking against the Venezuelans perhaps could work, but it's just a small, like you said, drop in the bucket. The Venezuelan is just one population set that's coming across that border in historic numbers. And so if they want to get serious about it, they need to not only look at Venezuelans, but Cubans and all the other nationalities. 130 nationalities are coming across that border. So I think the numbers that you're going to continue to see over month after month after month, even after this policy has been instituted, you're going to continue to see these astronomically high numbers, and it's not going to have a material effect of what's going on at that border. It's just going to affect one small population, such as the Venezuelans, but you're going to see other populations and other numbers coming across that border in historic numbers that we will continue to see, unfortunately.
Chad Wolf has a new op-ed out on foxnews.com entitled, Americans Deserve Solutions, Not Excuses. Of course, it is on the border crisis. Chad, thank you so much for joining us. Best of luck with the op-ed, and have a great weekend.
All right. Thank you, guys.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.